Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Revived and Renovated. I'm here with my dear friend Victoria Duerstock, and I'm Paige Ryan. And today we're going to talk more about this process of revival and renovation in the home and the heart. And today, Victoria, great word. Our word is renewal. I love it.
Yeah, and I know I say this every time, but I love this word. It's my favorite word. So
Yeah.
every episode, I feel like maybe I say that, but again, as we start to kind of dig in and look at these words whenever we're deciding what we're going to talk about next, I just kind of get excited because there's such good principles of renewal for not only our heart but our home and our
Mhm.
our family and our design as well as our faith. And so it's just kind of really neat to kind of dig in and look at the word renewed.
Well, I love this word too. And I think, we talked about this a little bit. I think we have a chance here with our conversations, and this is certainly our hope, that we can offer some encouragement and perhaps a new perspective on the home. And I think that better or worse, social media and stuff that we see online, and before that it was magazines, sets up a precedent of perfection or a goal of sort of this gloss of the home that sometimes can feel very overwhelming and pressure and make people feel like, well, geez, gosh, my house doesn't look anything like that, or just this feeling like if I don't have a huge budget, or if I don't have a huge house, if I don't live it on cliff overlooking the water, which would be great, but if I don't, like, I might feel less worthy. And I think renewal doesn't have to be, the beautiful new house in Malibu. It can be, renewal can happen for anybody, of course, inside, but also even in the home. I really, really believe that. And I feel like I think one of our purposes of even talking here is to breathe new life into words like renewal for the home, that it isn't always even a ton of work. Sometimes it's a fresh perspective on the home, sometimes even the most basic elements of tidying up the room, because I have found for myself taking small steps leads to greater ideas and solutions for the bigger stuff. But if my house is a mess and I feel just really a lot of despair about my environment, if I got too much stuff, I have no chance of a bigger renewal. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, no, I mean, I think renewal can be even just the simple things, the deep clean or the pressure washing for the outdoors. There's just something about a fresh house, that makes
mhm,
you feel like, oh, things are good again. Even a fresh coat of paint, on the walls.
mhm,
It's so much fun
mhm.
to kind of see how it kind of breathes new life into that space. I'm even thinking about the backdrop behind me. These panels, have been in almost every room of our house. I mean, they migrate, so
I love
they're
them.
not fixed fixtures, but every time they come into a new space, it's like a renewal.
Well, and I love that you brought that up. First of all, I love those panels, and I feel like I need a yin to your yang with my white doors here. I need something. Got to work on that.
I'll send you one.
Um, maybe yes, yeah, you send me one, but I'm not going to be looking at the thrift stores for panels, but to spray paint. But I should be making my kids meals. But well, I love that you brought that about shopping your home, because again, in our culture, we're taught to buy our way out of any kind of discomfort, right? And certainly in the context of the home, buying new things, renewal means buying new things. Like you renew your home through, and I don't count paint, right? Because paint is to me, paint is like a graduate version of paint of cleaning, right?
Essential.
Like let's put painting in terms of like almost like a cleaning product, but in terms of filling your house with new stuff, yes, new things are wonderful. I mean, I come to this honestly in terms of I don't begrudge anybody for buying new things, but it's sometimes we're doing it maybe for the wrong reason, right? I mean, sometimes we're doing it to maybe you know get through an uncomfortable time, or sort of get our mind off the world's woes, or that kind of thing. But we can always shop our home, we can move things around. And I actually think one of the best tools of renewal is to empty your space entirely. Give yourself the gift of a blank slate. It's so renewing to be able to clean everything out. I have a friend of mine came to my house a couple of years ago, and I was very overwhelmed actually with the space I'm sitting in right now. I had papers piled up to here. Like, it was unbelievable, because I had four kids. They were all, in different stages of preschool and school, didn't know what to do with their papers. I'm very nostalgic, and I just kind of kept everything. And she said to me, she's a professional organizer, and she said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put it all in boxes, and you're going to make a date to go through it later. So she did, because I think going through it would have taken a week. And she said, we put them in boxes, and then we labeled them and we put them somewhere. But I had renewed my room in one day. It was empty. Now, was it all solved? No. But I gave myself the gift of sort of the blank space. And tackling those boxes one by one was much easier over time. I still have a few. It might be in the attic. But this idea of renewal wasn't about redoing the whole room. It was simply giving myself that open space, which now is where this desk sits. So.
Yeah, I think that's important. Sometimes we have to remove the things that weigh us down. It's interesting because the verses that I pulled for today to talk about renewed actually talk about that a little bit. It's 2 Corinthians 4, and I'm just going to read them,
Please do,
16
yes.
through 18. It says, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our
Mm,
light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." And, that renewal that's happening inside of us every day is not something we're at work doing. It's something that
mm,
God's doing in us. And we are wasting away on the outside. Unfortunately, we're aging, and I
no
just
doubt.
today, so I feel that very deep in my heart. But we are being renewed on a daily basis. We can be refreshed. We can wake up in the morning with a blank slate. That's one of my favorite things to think about, is that every day is new. It hasn't had any marks in it yet. It's like a fresh
Mhm.
page of paper that
Mm.
hasn't seen any marks on it yet. Every day we're being renewed, and that's just the same way it is, inside of our hearts and our souls.
I love that. Every chance. I mean, that's also very 12-steppy, right? Like every day is new, one day at a time.
Yeah,
And just, that's to me, even in the Lord's Prayer, like give us this day our daily bread. We just get one day, and really to make with it what God and I can do together. I love that. And I also love it because I think for some of us that might be on the moodier side, they can get really down in the dumps about our house or the state of our relationship or whatever. And you can get really down and feel like it's just a mess. Where do I begin, and get very overwhelmed. And I think we forget that, first of all, God's working alongside us, but also that sometimes those renewals happen in just very small stages and with every new day. Like you're not going to redo your house in a day or even a whole room, despite what they do on TV. Total lie, by the way. It cannot be. It's not
no,
even something.
been there.
I don't know. It's months of work that happens in 22 minutes. But even something that seems like it could get executed in an hour or a day takes a lot of plan and thought. And like the bedroom that I'm standing in right now, clearing that space was the only way to even get to a place where I could redo it and then figure out what I wanted it to be and all that. So I feel like it's these bite-sized chunks. It is renewal, but it's not going to a store and buying a whole bunch of things and having it delivered and put in.
Right.
It's a slow process day to day. And
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I mean, it's that whole, and you've already mentioned it, the consumerism that plagues us, in general, is we need more stuff. And the reality is most of us have too much stuff. And what we need to do is maybe rotate it every so often. You can pull it out of that room and put it up for a little while. Maybe you still love it and you don't want to get rid of it yet. That's fine. But you don't need to have all the stuff out in all the places all the time. And that's, where clutter comes in. And like you said earlier, you can't think, you can't operate well. You can't, and we tend to kind of get in our mood and in our feelings, and then we're not good for anything. So it's not good in our homes, to have too many things. And that's retail therapy, right? Like that's just how we're supposed to operate.
It is, and I think we don't talk enough about like sort of that we want to express ourselves and do something creative and make something beautiful. But as you said, in terms of the panels behind you, you can shop your home, but you can also delete and take away. And sometimes sometimes when you have that itch to create a vignette or create something beautiful or get, if you want to express fall or something like that, right? There's all kinds of stuff on social media right now, but everybody's talking about fall. I frankly wouldn't mind Christmas in October based on our year, but people are, ready for the next season, that you don't have to run to a store and buy it. I mean, we can get to this another day. I'm a big fan of just going outside and clipping some stuff and bringing it in related to the season. But furthermore, even just clearing out the things that evoke summer, clearing out, something, and just giving yourself maybe less things on the counter, on the mantle, on so forth, and giving yourself fresh eyes, shopping your home. I don't know. I think that's to me the only antidote, because if we're going to the store and we're buying new stuff with with the intention of sort of making ourselves feel better, I don't think that's the best place to from which to create a home. That's not where we want to be. We want to be centered. And by the way, if we've got discomfort and issues and stuff, like there might be a better way to deal with it, right? Than Target. And again, I come to that honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we go shopping because it makes us feel better. But really doesn't. Like, when I get the bill or I have to pay the credit card or, have that argument with my husband, because finances 10 times out of 10 seem like they do affect our homes as well. And so, are we really helping ourselves versus, maybe learning to be content a little bit with the space that we have? freshening it up. There's nothing wrong with, like you said, the paint or the deep clean or the removal of the clutter, whatever. Those are the things where we can actually do something without investing a ton of money. And, many times those things make us feel good too. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing like a good deep clean and that sense of satisfaction, when you're done and you're like, that spot on the counter looks good.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
entire house, but that spot looks good.
No, it is. It is. It is. I feel like that's every time and in the quarantine, there's a lot of cleaning going on nonstop. I mean, every time you find I need my space as fresh as more than I ever did. And again, that's renewal. That's renewal, and it happens every day because kids need to eat every day somehow. I don't know. It's
Right? Like I feel like I have just fed them and they're asking again, what's for the next meal? And I'm like, I just cooked and then I just got it all cleaned up. So now I got to do it again.
how can it be all gone anyway? But it is.
They're growing.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
And I mean, I eat too. So,
Right. No, I know. I never ate. No, I know. I no. I'm also making a mess. I'm also messy, so I feel like a lot of times I'm
Yes.
cleaning up my own messes.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but
Yeah. No,
anyway, so,
I love it. I think the whole idea of renewals should be so encouraging. It's just um a beautiful thing to think through, the ramifications of being renewed day by day,
mhm, mhm,
of renewing our spaces, just even with what we have already without a need to go get something else
mhm.
necessarily. It's nice in those moments when we can or when we have a need and we need to do something, but it's also an opportunity to think through what we already do have and how could we reuse it. And I think you do that really well. You love to move things around and place them in different spots and play with that. And my kids have gotten that bug. They flip their bedrooms all the time, and I'm always walking into a bedroom and I'm like smacking into a bed, and I'm like, well, that wasn't there before, but now it is. So, but they all do it and they love it, and it feels free, gives you the opportunity to clean the space in a different way and see it in a new light. And I think that that's a really worthwhile thing for us, definitely, to have talked about today, for sure.
Oh, I loved it too. Look, I'm never gonna get rid of that itch that says I want to change something. I want to, but it doesn't always mean buying something new. Sometimes it means I got to move stuff around. Your kids are after my own heart with that. Well, this has been a fun one, Victoria. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening and tuning into our conversation. We'd love to know your thoughts on renewal, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.